everyone, so today's video is going to be a chit chat. I'm going to be talking about uni and everything you need to know before you start university. And there are a lot of you who've already gotten your results and will be going into uni in a few weeks, so I wanted to give you 10 tips and 10 things to remember and to look out for before you go into university, specifically for freshers, for the first year students. But I think some of these things you can kind of carry on throughout the whole year of your uni experience. So I hope it helps you. If you're a bit scared or worried about what to expect, don't worry, you'll be fine. I survived after 4 years. I'm surprised. I was like literally so scared before I got in there, and I'm very surprised that I actually got through it. And when you're looking back now, you feel like there wasn't anything to it. But number one, when it comes to making friends, it is always easier to choose people who are in your course, because then you can have like study sessions together and you wouldn't feel left out. You can study together, you can go out together, and you kind of share the same thing. But obviously you don't know who you're going to meet, so you can make friends with anyone. Usually people make a lot of friends in the first week during Freshers Week, so most of the time you meet a lot of people on that first week. Beware of fake people. A lot of people kind of put up a front when they first come into uni, and you end up seeing a lot of people's true colours as the year goes and as the year progresses. So beware of that. A lot of people feel like they need to have something to prove. Just be yourself. When it comes to the end of the year, you've probably met other people throughout the year, so don't worry if you don't meet people first year or in the first week, because you're bound to meet someone throughout the year. Also advise you to live on campus, so live around the uni area and, you know, just around people. If you're planning to commute from home, then that's fine if it's already too late to change, but it's usually easier and better for you socially to live on campus where everyone's there. Friends that I left uni with happened to be the people who were in my halls, so I stayed in halls the first year, and one of my close friends, she happened to be in, I think it was the next floor up or down, and we were just friends since then. She also happened to be in my course as well in the first year, so it's nice to be able to live around that area. You're around people, you're around the university, the library, the social events, restaurants, bars and stuff like that. Number two, if you're not one to cook, you might struggle a little bit because no one's gonna help you cook. If you don't want to eat, then you're gonna starve basically. Indomie and pot noodles isn't gonna cut it. There's gonna be lots and lots of restaurants that are gonna want to take your money, and you might find it easier to go and buy stuff, but you will run out of money really quickly. So I would suggest cooking something in the beginning of the week and then maybe storing it in the freezer in containers, so that you wouldn't have to cook every single day, because you won't really get much time. There'll be so many things going on, studies, lectures, events, and if you're living with people, there tends to be the issue of cleanliness, especially in the kitchen. So sometimes you might walk in and it's just like, what is going on here? So I would rather just cook my stuff when I get a chance and then store it. Also, when you go home back to your parents' house, make sure you grab as much food as you can, because I'm telling you, if you're one like me who doesn't really enjoy cooking as much, you will miss all those nice food, the nice yellow fries, fried rice, eba, soup, all that sort of thing, chicken. Make sure when you go home to grab as much as you can. Number three, you do not need to buy every single book on your reading list. I never bought a single book throughout the whole 4 years of my university life. Not one single book. I didn't feel the need. There's always going to be a book in the library. What I did was just to keep renewing books that I took out from the library, using the internet and just going to different websites that have the books. There's always people wanting to sell their books as well, like people in third year or fourth year might want to sell their books because they're leaving, so you could either get it cheaper, but you don't honestly have to buy every single thing, because once you're done, like, what are you going to do with them? Like, you're going to have a bunch of books you can't get rid of. What I did was to get stuff in the beginning of the week, like the first couple weeks. I would go to the library and take out the books that were on that list, and I just kept renewing them. I think after a while they ask you to give it back. If you feel like you want to have your own, then maybe buy a couple, maybe buy the main books, but not every single thing on that list. Number four, make use of student discounts. In first year, there is something called Freshers Fair, where all the different societies, clubs and courses and departments come together and have like a fair type thing, and you also get lots and lots of freebies. You get all sorts of stuff. I got loads of cooking utensils, I got stationery, I got lots and lots of condoms. And the fact that you're a student, so a lot of places were offering student discount, like restaurants, clothing stores and stuff like that, even with books as well. Anywhere you go, make sure you flash that discount card. Which brings me to number five, all the money you get, Your student loan, your overdraft isn't free money. Don't look at the amount of zeros in your bank account and think, oh my gosh, I have so much money, because it will run out. You have to budget and make sure it can sustain you for the whole year. I had 2 overdraft accounts. I had 2 accounts and I opened overdraft. I also had 2 credit cards. Do not go down that route because you have a lot of stuff to pay off once you're done. And because of the fact you can get discounts everywhere and there's so many sales, so make sure you're not like swayed and not influenced to spend everything, because these places like to draw students, especially when they've just been paid. There's always some sort of discount or some sort of sale. If you feel like you can handle it, maybe get like a weekend job or like something working in the student union or the student campus to get extra money and start a savings account, because once you finish, you're going to need to pay off everything that you've spent, all the debts and stuff. It's nice to kind of have some money put aside, because you get quite a bit of money and you kind of don't need it all, if I'm being honest. Number 6, beware of nonsense boys and nonsense girls. The boys who want you to cook for them even though you're not bae and want to Netflix and chill. This was the one thing I said to myself and I still stick by. Do not be wifey or assume wifey status to anyone if you're not actual wifey. Do not do wifely duties if you're not a wife. Like, there's a difference between, you know, being nice and wanting to cook for your friend, and then there's another extreme where you're literally doing everything for them, cooking, giving them money, doing all that stuff. If you're not a wifey, do not act like one. It's as simple as that. Like, I feel like that's a lot of things a lot of girls struggle with as well, just so they can feel like, you know, feel accepted. And then a lot of the guys do actually take that for granted. And the fact that you're away from home, there's that tendency to want to maybe, you know, go over God knows what time of the night and chill, and it's not always the best thing. So don't fall for any sweet talkers, because there'll be lots of them. Don't fall for any of those people. Do not cook for any random boy because you're not bae. I assure you, you will not be the only one that they're doing this to. Now, a nonsense girl is a girl who has seen the fact that she's left home for the first time, has all the freedom in the world, and feels like she needs to do everything to kind of get attention and go crazy. There will be lots and lots of parties, so you're gonna get loads of girls who just kind of like get a bit out of hand. And the thing about uni is, if you make a name for yourself in the beginning, that name will stick with you for a very long time. So do not get influenced by girls who kind of go crazy. And in my first year, I was fortunate enough to be friends with a lot of the third year guys, because I had a friend who was in 3rd year, so I met his friends, and I would always see like 1st year girls in their houses. I'm just like, what are you doing here? At really random times. So do not end up being one of those girls, and don't end up being influenced by stuff like that, because there will be a lot of scandal, a lot of mess going on at uni, and try to not get involved. Number 7, do not be so quick to find bae. I know a lot of people find their husbands and wives at uni, but don't make it a mission that you must have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in your first year of uni, because trust me, it can ruin your whole uni experience and also ruin your actual course. Because for me, I was actually in a relationship in my first year and all through my uni life, and it had its good and bad parts. More bad because it really affected me emotionally and mentally. I actually lost weight because of all the stress and everything. A lot of people put on weight when they're in the relationship, but I actually went the other way. So I was a 10 before I went to uni. I became an 8, and I've stayed an 8 since then. So don't be in a rush to find bae. It will come. A lot of people do find their sweethearts and all that stuff at uni, but it is not mandatory that you must find someone then. If it happens, it happens. If it's meant to be, it will be, but don't try and force a relationship. Don't try and look for boys. Just know that a lot of those relationships don't even last long, and a lot of them kind of, yeah, have multiple girls and multiple boys, and it's just not right. So try and focus on your studies. I know it sounds like a auntie thing to say, but you are at uni for a reason, and all those things will come at the right time. Number 8. You will feel homesick. If you're used to being at home, used to being with parents and your family and siblings, you will miss that, because a lot of times you can feel quite lonely at uni, and it is okay because you won't be the only person feeling homesick. It is just a standard feeling. You will get moments like that where you kind of miss home, you want to call your parents. After a while, you kind of get used to it. You kind of get used to being by yourself. Number 9, you have to be independent. When it comes to lectures, if you miss your lecturer won't come after you, ask where you've been. If you don't have the lecture notes, it's not their business. They're not there to baby you. You have to go out of your way to speak to your lecturers and ask them for help if you need it. They won't be there to help you unless you go to them. In first year, you're only required to pass by 40%. First year doesn't really count. Just because first year doesn't count doesn't mean you should literally just form a habit of not having a routine of studying. But at the same time, you need to get into the discipline of making sure you have a study routine, you revise, you go to lectures and not miss too much. There will be lots and lots of parties. There'll be parties every weekend. Trust me, there will be a reason to want to party sometimes even in the week. There's even like a midweek party. So make sure that you're able to balance your social life and your study life, because you can definitely get distracted. Number 10, try and join a club. If it's like a sports club or a society or something like that, it can get quite stressful when it comes to studying non-stop. For me, I joined the ACS, which is the Afro-Caribbean Society, and in my second year I was actually the events coordinator, one of the events coordinators, so I kind of got involved with something other than just studying. It builds character, it makes you feel responsible for things, responsible for people. Don't feel you need to go to uni to please your parents. If this is something you really want to do, then definitely go for it. But if it's something to do out of obligation, or your parents are forcing you to do something, you're really going to struggle. You will definitely not enjoy it. It is 3-4 years with a lot of money to pay. I'm not quite sure how much it costs now, the tuition to go to uni, so it's a lot of money. So make sure you're making the right decision. So that's it for the video. Let me know if you want me to expand on any of the points that I've raised in this video, like another video focused on that topic, and I will try and do that for you. But I really hope this was helpful. I know there's so many more things I probably could have told you about, but I felt like these were the main ones that I wish I knew before I started uni. But it's always a learning process. You're never going to know everything. It is okay to make mistakes as well. It's part of the growing process and maturing. You are going to find out a lot about yourself when you go to uni, so it's a very good experience. It's scary but then exciting at the same time. So just enjoy it, have fun, make a lot of friends. Don't stay in your room Freshers Week. Make sure you go to Freshers Fair, because you will definitely learn a lot of things and meet a lot of people. And yeah, so that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.